I couldn't shake the notion that this trip was going to be something unique, something that would bring us all together as a family. Me, Clarissa, and her complete gang, her dad, Gregory, her mom, Marilyn, and her little sister Nora, who could do no wrong in their sight. We're traveling to Cape Haven, a magnificent coastal town I'd only seen in images. The oceanfront resort we booked promised elegance, leisure, and maybe an opportunity to finally feel like I belonged with them. I'd been married to Clarissa for 2 years, but her family always held me at arm's length, like I was some outsider they hadn't quite chosen to trust yet. This trip, though, I figured it'd be different. I packed my things with hope, anticipating. Long dinners where we'd laugh, exchange stories, and maybe even bond a bit. The journey down was easy. Clarissa sang along to the radio, while I pictured us all sitting by the ocean at sunset, finally breaking through their boundaries. When we pulled up to the resort, the salty air reached me first, then the sound of waves crashing against the shore. It was beautiful. The lobby shined with marble floors and chandeliers, and I felt a thrill of pride knowing I'd chipped in huge to make this happen. We checked in, dropped our stuff, and walked to dinner. The waiter escorted us through the restaurant, gorgeous. White tablecloths, soft music, to a huge table prepared for the gathering. I was beaming, ready to pull out a chair next to Clarissa when Gregory's voice slashed through the air like a dull knife. "He wants his own table," he said, loud enough for the whole room to hear. I froze, my hands still on the chair. I gazed at him, waiting for the punchline. Surely this was a joke, right? But his face didn't crack a smile. Marilyn kept her eyes on her menu like I wasn't even there. Nora smirked a little. And Clarissa, my wife, the woman who was supposed to have my back, just stared at her hands. I let out a small, awkward laugh, thinking maybe I'd misheard. "What?" I asked, still standing there like an idiot. Gregory moved his hand toward a little table in the corner, 10 feet away, like it was no big deal. "Over there," he muttered, his tone flat. I looked around, waiting for someone to say something, anything, but the stillness was heavy. The waiter shifted uncomfortably, clutching a stack of menus, clearly confused about what to do. My chest clenched, and I felt my face heat up. Was this actually happening? I had driven 6 hours, paid for half this damn trip, and now I was being shoved to the side like some unwanted visitor? I thought about standing my ground, about sitting right next to Clarissa anyway. But the way they all just sat there, Gregory with his smug chin up, Marilyn pretending I didn't exist, Nora sipping her water like this was normal, made me feel small. I swallowed hard, took my jacket off the chair, and walked over to the little table in the corner. The waiter followed, murmuring an apology as he set a menu down in front of me. I sat there, staring at the words on the page without reading, while their voices floated over. Laughter, clinking drinks, the sound of a family I wasn't part of. I kept glancing at Clarissa, expecting her to look my way, to wave me over, to fix this. She didn't. She just nibbled at her salad, nodding along to whatever her dad was saying. My stomach twisted, but I ordered anyway, a steak, rare, because at least I could eat something tonight. The food came fast, and I cut into it, chewing slowly, tasting nothing but bitterness. They were over there, reminiscing about some family memory I'd never be part of while I sat alone. The ocean vista mocked me through the window. I kept telling myself it was a misunderstanding, that tomorrow would be better, that this was just a weird first-night thing. But deep down I knew this wasn't a welcome. This was a message, and I was starting to hear it loud and clear. By the time the check came, I didn't even bother looking up. I paid my portion, alone, of course, and walked back to the room without a word. Clarissa didn't say anything when she crawled into bed later. She simply turned off the light like nothing had happened. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering how the hell we got here. This trip was supposed to bring us closer. All I felt was the distance growing, a gap I wasn't sure I could cross. Tomorrow, I told myself. Tomorrow I'd make it right. But even as I drifted off to sleep, the small table in the corner lingered in my mind, a stinging reminder that maybe I didn't belong here at all. The room was still. Clarissa hadn't moved, and the water outside hummed, like it was cheering me on. I fell back on the couch, my hands behind my head, and let out a long, leisurely breath. It felt nice. Better than I'd expected. For once, I wasn't just reacting. I wasn't just going through the motions, waiting for the next demand, the next expectation, the next moment where I had to nod, smile, and pretend. No, I was in control. Now. I stood up, stretching, feeling something loosen in my chest. Something that had been tight for far too long. The weight of it had pressed on me every morning, every night. But now, I was free. I went back to bed, the covers cool on, my skin, and closed my eyes, knowing that sunrise would bring a reckoning I had set in motion. When I woke up, the room was bright. Clarissa was already in the shower, the water running loud behind the closed door. I moved quietly, methodically. Packed a tiny suitcase, just the essentials. Clothes, money, keys, my phone. No sentimental clutter, no loose ends, no second thoughts. I checked my phone. No notifications yet. No panicked messages, no frantic calls. Not yet. They wouldn't notice, until it was too late. Until they tried to use something I had taken away. Until they realized that the perfectly constructed world they'd built was missing a crucial piece. I grabbed the car keys from the dresser, the ones for the rental I had canceled. Then I stepped out. The corridor was quiet. The resort was still waking up, the air thick with the scent of salt and blooming hibiscus. No one saw me leave. The SUV sat in the parking lot, glistening in the early morning light. I placed my bag in the back, slid into the driver's seat, and turned the key. The engine hummed beneath me as I pulled onto the road. I didn't look back. Cape Haven faded in the rearview mirror, shrinking into the distance. It was gone. Just like that. A chapter closed with the press of an accelerator. 2 towns over, I found a new place. A high-end resort with a view that put ours to shame. I walked in, handed over my card, and booked a solitary suite. No Gregory. No Marilyn. No Clarissa to throw me off. Just me. I stepped into the room, letting the door close behind me with a quiet click. For the first time in years, I was alone. And it felt good. I ordered breakfast. Eggs, bacon, a stack of pancakes drowned in syrup. Then I sat by the window, watching the tide roll in. The first bite was heaven. The coffee was hot and strong, and with every sip, every forkful, I felt something else fall away. The tension, the expectation, the weight of all those years spent living a life that wasn't truly mine. Then, my phone buzzed. Clarissa's name lit up the screen. I let it ring. Took another bite. Watched the call go to voicemail. A minute later, it buzzed again. Gregory. Then, Nora. I ignored them all, and when Clarissa called back, I picked up, slowly, leaned back in my chair, the sun warm on my face. "Where are you?" she muttered, her voice tight, breaking just a little. "Everything's gone. The rooms, the car, everything." I chewed carefully, savoring the pancake. Swallowed. "I'm enjoying my vacation," I said. There was silence. Then, she started again, voice sharpening. "Cal, is anything—" I ended the call. Laid the phone down, took another sip of coffee. This was it, my tradition now, and I wasn't going back. I sat there in my suite, the tray of breakfast still warm in front of me. The ocean stretched beyond. The window, endless and open. A promise. A beginning. The pancakes were gone. The coffee cup half empty. And for the first time in years, I felt light. I felt free. I felt at peace.